Alright, I'm getting it now. I need to focus more on the dodging.
Almost. Get out! Is that all you've got? Get out! Excellent.
They really have started to run out of ideas when, you know, you're just fighting geometric shapes.
Come on, you piece of crap.
Speaking of Evangelion references.
Yeah, really? Like, I know, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so, break it down for me.
Okay.
Here's 5 episodes of content right now.
Yeah.
Break it down for me, Evangelion 3.33, right? That's a... It's the same story? It's not a... It's like an additional, like, cutscenes I'm sorry, the director's cut version?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and preface this with spoiler alerts, because there is no way to talk about 3.33 without spoiling the shit out of something.
There's no way to watch it without spoiling it. Like, just watching it, you've spoiled it. I guess that's true about anything. Sounded cooler in my head. I'm sorry.
Good job, Mike. Okay. So, because of things that appear in the first 2 movies, I have long since held that these movies are not so much a remake as they are a sequel, because there are references to things that happened in the original sequence of Neon Genesis Evangelion and the original theatrical movies, notably End of Eva.
Is that all you've got?
And
Get out!
3.33 offers a couple of interesting theories, or at least a couple of interesting possibilities for me to create theories from.
Keep talking, John. Don't stop.
Yeah. One is you can take it on face value that, you know, this is, you know, X number of, you know, like 14 years after the end of 2.22. I do have other questions as far as how far the, you know, where this takes place in the timeline, because you know, it definitely takes place after End of Evangelion, but like
this is like some Dark Souls thing of we know it's after it, but there's no way to know. There's no energy from the object. Doesn't seem like it's going to do anything as of now. What am I supposed to do? Go in the water?
Anyway, when the movie starts out, you know, Shinji is being retrieved from outer space, which begs... That's the first question, is why is Shinji and Unit 1 in space? When, you know, at the end of 2.22, you know, they're ostensibly on Earth. When, you know, Quaru comes down and throws the lance into Unit 1 and, you know, preempts third impact.
It needs something to open it.
So is the numbering they're using just like, sorry for the local reference for everybody else here, but just an MTAC thing of, we're not going to call it Evangelion 1, 2, 3, we got to be like 1, 2.22, well, and 3.33?
The theatrical releases were 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. The home releases are like the 1.11, 2.22, 3.33. I think originally it had some reference to like the number of changes that they made in terms of like, you know, just little nitpicky things, not like important story
so these
elements.
are the movies?
Yeah, these are movies.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a re-release of the series.
No, it was a new series of films that was originally dubbed as a remake of the series, but that was quickly, you know, proved to be just utter bullshit. The first movie is more or less a straight remake of, you know, like the first 6 episodes, but there are some important differences that I noticed right away. I'm like, oh, this, you know, there's a big, stripe of blood on the moon, like after in the Veva. So this, pretty obviously takes place after that. And then, 2.22, things start to go off the rails a little bit, and different things happen, and, new character gets introduced. And 3.33 is just complete fucking, nutso bonkers.
Get out of our way.
And
You were talking about out of ideas for enemies. I'm glad it finally died. I was just like, you're gonna throw me into another boss fight, ring shit, and I haven't had a chance to heal from the last one. That's the same fight? No, it's a level.
Yeah.
That's on the level.
Yeah.
Okay.
chapter.
But yeah, you were talking about out of ideas. Here's another fucking Heaven Centaur.
Yeah. But anyway, the beginning of 3.33, they're retrieving Shinji from space for whatever reason he's in space for. And when they retrieve him, they're wheeling him in, they're doing a bunch of tests on him. They're seeing, if he's conscious, self-aware, that sort of thing. But, there's a shot of him being wheeled in on a gurney, and
Are they still kids at this point? They gotta be adults, right?
they actually make an explanation for that. They are still kids. But, when he's being wheeled in, there's like a tag on his toe, and a thing on the bottom of his foot, it's written like S. Ikari ? As in, is this really Shinji? So for some reason, when they retrieve him, they're not even sure if it's really Shinji. But they do make some reference to, his genetic information, everything is identical. It seems to be him. Now, of course, part of that can be explained by the fact that, he's been gone for, 14 years. But it still was rather... It was an odd, sort of an odd way of dealing with things, because instead of, being like, oh hey, we found Shinji, it's like, okay, we think we found Shinji, and now this guy needs to just, we need to put a collar on this guy and have him just not fucking do anything ever again. Which just seems like, why did you even bother rescuing him in the first place? But,
yeah, it's gonna take me a few bits on this guy, because I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing, because I don't hit him half the time. He's got this armor on.
maybe hit him in the ass? I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to him.
Yeah, I did. I hit him in the ass, and he, like, hit me with fire, so he's got, like, a fire ass thing happening.
That happens sometimes.
Chipotle. This is the Chipotle boss. Can I skip this?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, why do I have to go to a menu to do it, though? God, that's a lot of confirmation. Benny does not like you skipping his cutscenes.
I worked hard on that shit, man. Anyway, long story short, what I'm getting at is there's several references in the film to things that happen in the original series timeline. That makes me sort of wonder, which story are we in? Are we in, the T.22 story, or are we in post-End of Evangelion? Although at this point I don't know that it really necessarily matters all that much, because A, it's pretty obviously a story about doing the same thing over and over again until you get it right. The third movie was released in America on Groundhog's Day. Just a funny FYI.
Wow.
But yeah, talking about them still being kids, apparently if you pilot a Neva, you stay that age forever. You see Austin, she's still, 14, but now she's a legal 14. She's a 28 on her driver's license.
Well, I mean, ages in Japan don't work like ages in the States do.
No.
It's a different scale of age scaling. Plus, we don't know the flow of time here, so we don't know which 14 she is, right?
Right. We know she's old as hell.
I mean, Ray, right? Technically is less than a year old?
The Ray in 3.33, possibly. We don't really know how old that Ray is. Because it's not the one from 2.22. That's established, you know, pretty quickly. There was one really funny thing from... see, Mari, the new character, they haven't really gone into what she does or why she's there. But when the manga finally ended, and the manga ran for like 20 years before it finally ended, they had a bonus chapter where Mari was apparently going to school with Shinji's mom. And then there's a line towards the end of the film where she's talking to Ray and she says something about her not being as fun as the original. And
Okay.
you know, the audience is, you know, supposed to think, you know, the original Ray from 2.22, but like after having read that, it's like, well, maybe he's talking about, you know, Shinji's actual mother. And if you know, piloting an Ava gets you stuck at an age forever and ever, then maybe she was like, you know, one of the first test pilots, or the first successful test pilot, you know, that didn't get their soul sucked into something. Very good.
Yeah, I'm not fond of that fight.
Well, you don't have
This
to
whole
be.
chapter has been terrible.
Not been your best chapter.
Let's keep moving.
And that was a bronze? Really? Like, I could do worse? What do I... Is that something I gotta put together? Okay, there was a thing over here.
Yeah.
Which is what I originally wanted to do, and then it was like, no, 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 you have another boss fight to do. Right, just a lot of health. Alright. Well, is that anything over here?
The interesting thing about 3.33 is it's impossible to judge it on its own. Like, you really have to just wait until the last movie comes out where you can decide whether or not it was a giant waste of time or not.
For 2 or
For 3.
3? The one that just came out. 3.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I gotta take these back, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what I gotta do?
I think so.
I'll take these back to the, other painting world thing.
Try to keep up.
I saw a thing.
Therefore, you must have it.
Yeah, even though I haven't done anything with these.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the Audibles version of this codec.
Read by Morgan Freeman. That would be awesome.
Stop sitting around.
You stop sitting around.
Who's
God, this
panting like that? Another one.
Like that part in the first game where you had to build the bridge across worlds or something. Now you can slingshot yourself right into
Yeah.
hell.
Take care of this.
Like Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, and the controls in air are not the same
Or
to
they
move
inverted?
as they are in water. Even though technically they're both 3D environments in which you can move anywhere.
Ta-da!
Alrighty then.
Right then.
time to do the thing on the pole.
All right, next episode we'll see what's up ahead.
All right.